Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. It's hectic time right now in the Call of Duty world, with ranked play finally arriving into the game last night, certainly to some mixed reviews. The main vitriol though was sent the way of the CDL Camos finally in the game. The OpTic guys not happy at all about the misnaming of their weapon skin. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. First of all, massive thanks to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's content. Undoubtedly the coolest product I've seen in the daily fantasy space for a very long time. This firstly, Chrome kind of does his picks yesterday in the Call of Duty space, over and under type stuff for tonight's matches that we'll talk about at the end of the video, but there's a lot more to it than just this. If you head to the website, you'll find at the top here, yes, there's Call of Duty, there's other esports as well, there's also regular sports also, NBA of course is going to be a big one over these coming weeks now the Super Bowl has concluded, but yeah, if we look at the Call of Duty stuff, okay, kills, what are we looking at right here? We've got Kenny versus the Paris Legion tonight, maps 1 to 3, 61.5 kills, obviously it depends if they're going to play Bacage or not, right? I'm going to say, okay, let's say they don't play Bacage map 1, we'll say under for Kenny on 61.5 kills, and then look, I could pick another player here to kind of round out my entry from the Call of Duty side as Chrome did, or I could say, okay, let's look at another sport, like, okay, I could do soccer, I could do NBA, don't know all that much about American sports, so instead we're going to do Counter-Strike, right, because I am kind of Victor's on right now, and these are all the options for you. I can look at assists actually and say, okay, simple, more than 5.5 assists over the first 2 maps against Ents, that seems kind of reasonable, let's go with that, we'll say over, then I can choose flex or power play depending on how confident I am at this one, and I would be able to place the entry if I was in the US. So right now it's just available in the US and Canada. You guys can check it out with the link in the description box below. If you're in any of these states that are not red, then you get into it now. So the vast majority of states this is available in. I'm sure the other ones will come along in due course. And anything you guys deposit, PrizePicks will match up to $100 when you hit the link in the description box below. Thanks to PrizePicks, let's crack straight on with the content. So the camos were the big discussion of yesterday. Red Tiger 2009 versus the $25 million franchise skin for Los Angeles Thieves 2021. Looks remarkably similar as Crone is pointing out. This also came up from Charlie Intel, kind of just throwing some roast the way of the subliners, but these are kind of what the camos look like. Los Angeles Thieves, Atlanta FaZe, in fairness, I think they do actually look better than last year. That's not saying much, honestly, but I think they're slightly more interesting. The thing that frustrates me again is it is literally the same pattern on every one, just the colours are different. It's basically copy and paste what they did last year, but just the pattern this year is slightly more interesting, maybe. That's all we've got to go on. Now, Charlie Intel says they look pretty good, which I guess maybe they do compared to last year, but they're not what we should be getting, right, for a CDL camo, which should be one of the, well, the highest priority in the entire game, you would have thought, given their $300 million franchise league. But we'll talk about that too in a second. Charlie Intel drops, well, no, Crimsix, sorry, drops the L take in the reply to Charlie Intel, and then Charlie Intel say, how about them subliners? Now we're deleted because I guess, well, they thought he was roasting Crimsix too hard or whatever. The social guy bit here for, of course, New York subliners not looking so good so far in this game. Now Hex notices something here that he then tweets out. This image is a leak, right? Like, this isn't actually in the store labeled as Texas OpTics, right? I'm not near a setup right now, so I can't actually check it for myself, but indeed this is the case. Sledgehammer say they're going to work on a fix on this, but I have no idea how this even slips through the cracks. This is what the camo looks like in a close-up situation, like all the camos basically look like this. They've managed to make the OpTic one look even more boring than the other ones I think are capable of, but in the top left side, Texas OpTics, like, they've got it completely wrong, right? I guess most organizations, right, have their kind of where that their city is first, or their kind of location is first, then the team name, but it just took someone to have any understanding of like OpTic in general to not make this mistake, or at least to check with someone to not put it in the game as Texas OpTics. Now they're working on a fix here, but still, it's just very, especially to a guy like Hex, right, to whom this means an awful lot, right? OpTic always goes first, right? It's always OpTic something or other after that, and also, like, I'm sure he'd prefer the P and the I and the C to be lowercase here, right, as well, and then I'm not really sure where the S is coming on the end of OpTics. I don't even understand how you mess this up, to be honest. It's typical that it's OpTic, right, of all the other teams that they could have messed up, that, of course, well, they're going to spark the most discussion about it, as well. Hex says as well, I don't know what's more offensive, the way they title our camo Texas OpTics, or the way they designed our camo. Come on, man. This also raises another question, that, apparently all the OpTic guys had no idea what this camo even looked like until it's in the game. Like, that's kind of crazy to me, that, I'm pretty sure in other esports, right, in Halo, for example, pretty sure the teams are involved in designing the camos and the weapon skins, and in Call of Duty, apparently they have no idea until the Activision guys decide, okay, here's what you've got on the plate for this year, if you enjoy it, nicely done. Now, this also came up from Enable in the reply to this original tweet. Now, this has since been deleted, so I'm not sure whether this is fake news or whether he decided to take it down because he got a phone call or for whatever reason, but as he says, I heard all the teams had dope skins, but they decided to use those as they don't outperform the other skins in the game, which doesn't make any sense to me, right? Like, surely the idea is, if you're putting a good skin into the game, like, the more good skins, the better, right? No, like, does it not make any sense? I don't really know. I don't know if this is straight BS from Enable here, that's why he deleted it, but, still, it seems kind of mind-blowing to me if that was the case, because they could do so much of a better job than this. they just decide not to for whatever reason. And there's people in the community that have done great weapon concepts for several years now that never get into the game. Dabs at Round 11 Stats did this one for Breaking Point last night, thought this looked really nice indeed. Of course, not sure how this would look from a first-person perspective, but look, this is the type of thing they should be doing. Simple camos, team logos, and team colors as part of it. Like, this already looks a million times better than what the Activision guys have come up with over the last day or so. This is also from Lionman, right? This is back in Modern Warfare he made these. Like, I mean, these just look so much better. Yes, it takes a bit more time and effort, but surely it's not an unreasonable request to actually do something like this for a league that, well, surely, in theory, has such great importance within the Call of Duty landscape in general. Like, they've done another quite positive updates to the game yesterday that we'll look at for the CDL front, but yet on this side, which is going to be so big in general, the load of people talk about, like, they just can't seem to get it right? Even if they, say to Lyman, like, design these camos, we'll put them in the game, I don't know. Like, it just seems so, like, it's so lackadaisical. Like, they're not putting any effort in at all when they just copy and paste the camos year after year and just, like, change the colors on the skin that they've got. Like, it's just very frustrating as a Call of Duty fan, and as Heck says, who keeps choking, man? So he's not happy about it, and well, understandably so. But let's talk about kind of the other updates that come through. This is actually a really positive one that, well, Hassan points out to me last night, but people were mentioning this. This is something like such a small thing, but such a major thing that we've been asking for a long time. On the main home screen right now, you can see the upcoming Call of Duty League game. That's really cool. Anyone who logs into the game will see in the bottom right-hand corner, wow, okay, there's a Call of Duty League match on. That's pretty interesting. Maybe I'll tune in. There's also another screen you can go to now which shows you all the schedule for the matches, all the results of the past week or so, like news stories and stuff like this. Really cool stuff. Great positive addition, but they can get that right, but they can't seem to get the CDL camos right, which of course is pretty frustrating. This also, right, this is from the London Royal Ravens page, which is now in the game itself when it shows the team, and I mean, yeah, they've kind of done zero dirty right here. He doesn't even have a picture. He made it his profile picture, which is kind of funny, but looks like Harry's in the starting team instead of zero. So okay, yes, still some mistakes here, still not ideal, but better than it could be. And frankly, it's pretty cool to see this type of stuff in the game regardless. Let's talk then about ranked play. So finally it does arrive last night. After the delay that comes through, people weren't sure if it actually was going to arrive. This is Chrome points out, because right now that kind of the skill rankings and like where you get placed is a bit of a question mark, and the problem is that people who get placed in different divisions can't play with each other because of these restrictions in skill rating, even though the qualification games that you play are kind of the decider games that then get you placed, the placement matches, like they're not always particularly reliable on where you're getting placed right. So it does cause some issues here. There's players in Masters or Challenges, they can't really play from people like too low of a skill rating below them, even if those guys are also pros that just got placed in a poor skill rating, because the placement matches can be a little bit dodgy. It's a beta after all. But I think that's really been the main complaint. This I did think was kind of funny, because Scump tweeted this, ranked players out, he was hyped about it, like it seemed like it was getting released, because Zuma managed to get into a game and actually load up the game, but for whatever reason, like I think basically this was before it was released or whatever, but he managed to get into a lobby somehow with a couple of other guys, and then like 2 seconds in it just crashes and they take the L on that front. So it was unfortunate stuff. They felt like they'd kind of got through the system somehow, but still, it didn't end up happening. But anyway, about an hour or so later, it does officially get released, I'm pretty sure. So after that, Scum says, ranked player's gone. Like, unfortunate stuff. It was there, then it was gone, then it was back again a little bit later. So, well, this also from Trek, they do some additional restrictions. This stuff, again, is really good, right? I'm really happy that Trek have delivered this for Sledgehammer, right? So congratulations. But, I mean, look at this. There is some issue right now where certain things will appear like they're not banned in the game itself, or in the class loadout type selection type stuff, but when you go into the game, then they actually are banned, including all this stuff. So pretty much everything right now that is GA'd by the pros is, is actually restricted fully in ranked play. So smoke grenade is gone, gamma grenade is gone, like, yeah, it's basically the sticky grenade or whatever. Actually, there's a new sticky grenade in the game anyway. That's like the Semtex type thing, I thought. Maybe it doesn't stick, it just explodes. I don't know. All this stuff the pros got rid of has been banned by, effectively GA'd by the pros, has now been got rid of from ranked play. So if you are playing ranked, you should be playing the identical game to what the pros play, which is of course what we want to see. So again, another positive thing, like it's kind of a mixed bag of what we've got the last 24 hours or so, and then it finally does go live. So well, if you guys have played it yet, definitely let me know your thoughts down below, because I think it's a mix of reviews on it so far. I think most people generally had a good time. I think yes, there are obviously some concerns, some issues, things aren't ideal, as they will always tend to not be ideal, but with some work and with some improvements, it seems very promising, and I'm pretty optimistic about how this is going to develop over the next couple of weeks as they continue to refine things here in Vanguard, and hopefully make things a better time than it is right now. And well, as Kenny says, I mean, everyone was talking about this, right? It just shows what what ranked play does and why we need it, because everyone was talking about it. There was way too many tweets for me to even put in this video. As Kenny says, why can't I queue with my teammates that are in Masters, but I get contenders and advanced on my team? So definitely some issues right now with the ranking system, right, and the way people play with each other, but kind of to be expected, frankly. I'm sure Trek and monitoring this, going to try and improve it over the coming days. But well, before we close out the video, there actually are some CDL games going on tonight. tonight. These are the games for the entire week, an incredibly important week of action, because, I mean, look, this determines who gets a winner's bracket for the major. 2 teams in the New York Southerners and the Paris Legion are pretty much not going to make it. That means the other 10 teams are kind of fighting for 8 remaining spots here. Now, well, these are today's games, incredibly important games, of course. So, well, Los Angeles Thieves, Paris Legion. If Thieves win this one, as you might expect them to, Paris will be 0-5, and Thieves will have 3 wins, which will be enough to guarantee them winner's bracket for the major. Then these last 2 games are incredibly crucial, because at Minnesota this week, they play FaZe, and then they play Los Angeles Guerrillas. 2 games that aren't easy at all. If they lose both of those, they'll be 1-4, and that means OpTic just have to win one of their games this week to qualify at 2-3, because they'll outplace Minnesota, and I think that should be good enough for them. So Minnesota really need to try and get a win against FaZe tonight. If they can achieve that, they put themselves in a great spot at 2-2 to actually get through and qualify. Then we've got Toronto versus OpTic. This is a series where obviously OpTic have had a very difficult time the last year or so. They've lost the last 5 series in a row they've played against Toronto, and I mean, still, Toronto always had OpTic's number last year. This season it might be a different story, but look, it's going to be a difficult time for OpTic. There's no doubt about that one. Like, Toronto, a very difficult team to beat, but OpTic need to really take this series the distance. If they don't win, they can afford to lose if they go game 5. Like, a map count is going to be important here, because, I mean, if they get 3-0'd in this series, for example, and even if they beat Boston, that doesn't put their map count in the best place to win the tiebreakers they might well need to win if they're 2-3. So ideally, OpTic just come out and win this series, no problem, but it's not so easy to do that against a team like Toronto, and if they lose, they have to try and make it close. I'm going to say Thieves beat Paris 3-1, FaZe beat Rokkr 3-1, and then Ultra beat OpTic 3-2, but I think those 2 map wins for OpTic would be good enough if they beat Boston later on this week to try and get them through to the winners bracket for their own major. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on a like button. Tell us on YouTube, God, this is a good video, and I was like, you should see it as well, and hope grow the competitive Call of Duty. Thank you much as always, take care, thanks to PrizePicks, and I'll see you next time.
How are we in right now? It started.
Whoa, baby! We got in! Holy
You got 5,000 viewers right now. Oh
holy. Yo, do not lose! Do not lose!
We're not losing. Let's go. Drop it.
Oh. No! I'm so blue balls right now! My balls are on fire right now! You gotta be Oh my God!
I need to address something real quick. Doug, did you hear this guy said we don't lose
Doug. No, I thought scared to repair. I thought scared to repair, bro.
It was
my God, bro. I've been teased way too much today.
You think someone's sitting there watching the stream and they just press the button?
There's no way. There's no way.
You think the devs are watching cracking up right now?
God, bro.
This time they said